Let's take a tour of an old friend. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Messy Garage, where we're still, of course, really messy. I'm going to try to avoid as much of that as possible here. But I've had this for almost a little over a year and a half, I guess, now. And felt like it was time to give you some thoughts, because I know a lot of people have some questions about the drawer latches and things in general. So let's dive right on in. One of the first things I would say is this top makes a great place to store stuff. I got these magnetic bars. I think they actually sell something like it at Harbor Freight. So I've got my flat wrenches here. I use those when I'm doing like brakes and sometimes some transmission stuff. Anything where you got a really flat, narrow opening to usually hold while you're undoing a nut on the other side. Keep my little picks over there. The zip tie flush cutters. A 1/4-inch bit for my my impact driver. But anyway, so top is a good spot for stuff if you get some magnets. Here I've actually got all standardized. For the home garage, I'm all about space efficiency, or try to be, and my stubby and my bigger mid-torque are 1/2 inch, so I can share sockets and have access to the bigger sockets you'll see in the next drawer. 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2 inch chrome sockets, although I have several sets. It's kind of my grab set. The aforementioned impacts, which I really like. I would tell you, if I had to go down to just one, I would choose this. And by the way, if I'm kind of blazing by something and you have thoughts or questions, please put them in the comments and I'll either answer or maybe do another quick video about it. That's part of the reason I do this, is to share the journey and decisions I've made, and mistakes or not. And here, I had the bigger Gen 1 mid-torque and this guy to get in small places, and this one really does nearly everything that one does, and with a lot more grump. So I'm a big fan of the mid-torque. I'm a little bit of a ratchet junkie. Lots of different options. I would tell you, and you'll see me have duplicates, especially in 1/4-inch. I tend to like to have, if I'm working on something that has multiple sizes of sockets, set up the ratchets, 2 ratchets with the different sizes. I don't have to switch the socket itself. I just switch ratchets. I find that kind of keeps me more comfortable and in the flow, which is hard for me as a novice at everything. So 1/4-inch drive, kind of moving up to 3/8 inch, and that's my bread and butter. I have very little in the way of 1/2 inch, as you'll see here in a sec. Have Icon, Snap-on, and SK ratchets, and like them all. Probably my favorite overall is really tight between the Icon and the Snap-ons, to be honest. Probably I will sell some of the Snap-ons because I got them as kind of fun and gifts to myself, but the Icon stuff does so well, and not necessarily the smartest use of my money laying in here when I've got quite serviceable ratchets that are really good. Anyway, this Matco flex head has been great. I didn't really get flex heads until I got this one and was doing some things under the dash. And there's times when rotos, which I love in the 1/4-inch, love this. This is probably my favorite single ratchet, actually. The flex head can kind of tuck under and remain really flat while you're putting some torque on it. So, and I'll mention that again here probably in a second, come to think of it. But anyway, so the 3/8 stuff, some longer 3/8, my 1/2 inch here, and I've got a 1/2 inch roto over here. The one set of 3/8 inch tall sockets, which get occasional use, Torx and Hex, my impact lug things, because we have at least 4 different ones in the driveway between the BMWs and the Mini and the Mazda and the Hondas and whatever else, a Volvo. I don't actually use this bar or whatever storage over here I just put my gloves and I wear ending pens, so I use those to mark oil filters and stuff like that, and mark that I've torqued something down. Pry bars, these little flexi ratchet thing, or you can put a socket and driver, I guess, on that, including this old Snap-on one that I really like, because occasionally not only been very useful to have just, you know, socket on a screwdriver kind of head, but it can be driven by a ratchet or an extension with a ratchet, so that's been kind of fun sometimes. So that's it for this top drawer. Next is my wrench drawer, and this is kind of the reason I really wanted this, was kind of almost all of my wrench, like normal wrenches or commonly used wrenches. Recently I got these, haven't used them all that much yet, but like them so far. My SK, which is kind of I got for my damaged threads or anything like that, or, you know, rounded off fastener. Plus this is not only a 6-point, but like a zillion degrees of angle here, so really good to, if you don't have a lot of room to move, you can move with that. A few flex heads there. I keep my Icon flush cutters there. My flare nut wrenches, super handy for brakes and stuff like that. My flex head stubbies. So my wrench drawer. I really like my wrench drawer. I'll tell you a note, by the way. These latches, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, it's flimsy, it works weird. And I would tell you, having used this thing a fair bit, not flimsy. And when you put some weight in the drawer, it's much easier to open. So like in the store itself, when they're empty, I think they are a little fiddly, but with weight in them, stuff in them, not so bad. This is my Icon, what people call the meme tool, the flex head bit driver kit, which becomes even more useful with these super shallow, I mean, just look how much shallower they are than, well, it's not really fair here, than their regular 1/4-inch buddies. I mean, they're really great, and make this thing go almost anywhere scenario. Really like that. Some battery storage, various scrapers, the bigger, you know, this is why I got 1/2 inches for, you know, lugs or for hub nuts and things like that. And we have several different ones. So this is kind of a little bit of a various drawer. Low profile 3/8 inch here, various extensions. So kind of mixed bag there. This is my other long wrench drawer, I'll call it. I have the Icon set for both the you know, ratcheting with the end here. And this is great because if you're on something really, really shallow, you can get on there with this. This gives you a little more coverage, and you can put a lot of torque on these because they're nice and long. And these flex heads have come in handy so many times I can't even tell you. I mean, from motor mounts to getting into the cap, etc. Cap and rotor of one of my old cars, great. These hose clamp things, when I was doing fuel lines in my old BMW, were just absolute godsends, because a lot of those hoses went up in really tight spots. My Knipex, what do you call it, clamp, wrench, clamp pliers, hose clamp pliers, some pry bars. And then we get the torque drawer, which has been upgraded a couple times recently with these 2 new Icon split beams. Really like those a lot. Having a flex head is really incredibly handy on a torque wrench. And I like the split beam adjustment and you know, ease of setting it, and nice positive just ping when you are at torque. I did pick up the Quinn Digital a while back. Really kind of like the mechanical motion of the rest. So anyway, that's the torque drawer. I have a bunch of opinions on torque wrenches, but we'll save that for another video if y'all are interested. My pass-through socket set, which is rarely used, but a lifesaver when it is needed. Suspension and IKEA furniture and a bunch of stuff. My Lang rethreading kit. This thing I would say, don't buy a tap and die. Buy a rethreading kit. They look the same, or look really similar anyway. But instead of cutting a lot of metal, these reshape the metal. And that's what you want if you're going to reuse those fasteners or threaded holes. Some breaker bars that I basically never use because my Milwaukee does everything. My trusty Cook, I forgot the Stubby's cousin or something like that they used to call it over at Garage Journal. I love this thing. It's great for getting off tires or wheels that have stuck to the hubs and stuff like that. My flare nut, or sorry, my what do you call those things? Well, whatever. You know, some various other bits and bobs. My water pump pliers. So, and then lastly, down here is the other junk drawer. Just kind of what I don't have some organization for. So, you know, my Pry tools for body panels. That's my code readers. I've got one that's sort of BMW specific, and this guy for everything else. Grease and anti-seize and just stuff. Towels. So, what's funny is, as I've gotten this thing, it really has kind of absorbed everything I've thrown at it very well. So in other words, like, as I think, oh, I'm full, and then I'll get something new and I'll be able to find room in this box for it without really stacking too much stuff up. I know a bunch of people were probably screaming down here that I could go vertical with these and get up in a lot more space, and maybe I will, I don't know, but I really like having things where I can see it and grab it, you know, and keep working, keep flowing. So you know, this thing holds so much, at least for my, you know, non-pro but fairly complete set of tools. I feel like I'm at a pretty high level of tools for just a garage monkey, and you know, that is that has been a good thing. It keeps things easy to get to. I don't have to open and close drawers a lot because most of my most commonly stuff is here, and you know, I just keep flowing, and this has been a great, really easy box to use. And that's for me the thing. I don't want, a lot of people say, oh, the flip top would drive me crazy. I don't want another space to put stuff. My garage is messy enough, and if I'm putting stuff on top of this, it means I can't get to it. So I don't want the flip top. I don't want a hard top and just all drawers, like a 44-inch or whatever. I do have a small cabinet, a US General cabinet on the other side of the garage, which has what I call the home tools or more general duty stuff, but most of the car stuff that occupies my hardest tasks in the garage are all in here, and it's been great. I highly recommend it. I'm surprised they still have it for sale as much as they do. Really, this thing was, I think, the first peek at what the Series 3 products would be designed for. So anyway, that's my quick look. Thanks for coming. Please comment or ask questions, and like and subscribe, etc., of course, and stay messy.